Hello and welcome back to another video. It's a snowy night here in Maine. It's so snowy that tomorrow we don't have school again. So it was a snow day for me today. I was able to get a podcast out and a couple YouTube videos. So since I don't have school already tomorrow, they called tonight to say no school. I figure I can make a couple videos tonight. And I would like to continue with the whole phrasal verb thing. Last night I did one on break, and I think I apologized about 100 times during that video for everyone learning English, because you think you understand break. Oh, I get it. Like, break. It's broken. I get it. But then you break up and break down and break out. All different meanings, can be very confusing. So today I want to talk about take. Take. But before we do that, I was thinking of break after the video, and I think there are a few more. And I came up with another one. So if you've watched, I'll make it a playlist with like a phrasal verbs playlist. And I almost even think there could be an entire English learning channel on YouTube for phrasal verbs. But before we move on to take, let's talk about one more with break, and it's breakout. Now, in the last video, I talked about breaking out with zits. If you have a lot of zits, that would be called a breakout. But there are two more examples I thought of with breakout, and that is when you just have something that you usually keep in a closet or a cabinet and you don't get it out very often. So for instance, in the United States, you may have heard of a holiday that we have, which is Thanksgiving. On my podcast, plug that a little bit, Learn American English with this guy, same channel name. I did a whole podcast on American holidays. So we have Thanksgiving, and a lot of times people will have a set of fancy dishes that they might only break out for a special holiday like Thanksgiving. So the fancy dishes only get broken out once a year, maybe, or for special occasions. And it would be very sad, excuse me, it would be very sad if any of those dishes got broken, which same word, totally different meaning if you just add a little preposition at the end. Break out versus break. So difficult. So on a snowy night like tonight, my family might break out a board game. Like we might break out Monopoly, which means we take it from the closet that it's usually kept in, and we would all sit down and play it. Now, my wife would love that. She loves playing board games. However, I'm not the biggest fan, and my kids aren't the biggest fans. So we occasionally break out a game of Monopoly or Battleship or Yahtzee, but not that often, which is why we call it breakout, because you don't take it out all the time. It only comes out every once in a while. So, take. That's another verb. I feel bad. You learn take. Oh, I get it. Hey, I will take that from you. I'll take that off your hands. Well, there's off, but I'll take that. Or you might even like, okay, I take the bus to work. So you might understand, all right, take is a kind of complicated verb. It has a couple different meanings, but you start sticking in little phrases after, like take out or take in, totally changes the meaning. So Again, sorry about that. Now, when I was doing my research for all of the takeout phrasal verbs, there were a couple that we just don't use in the United States. And they might use them in England, or they might use them in Canada or Australia. But since this channel is Learn American English from this guy, it's not Learn Canadian English or Learn British English, I'm not going to worry about those. With that said, I still think there are about 15 different phrasal verbs with take, which is why I think this video will be a two-parter, because it's going to get a little long, and it's at 5 minutes already. So the first one is take after. Take after. And this is usually followed by somebody. So you take after somebody. For instance, occasionally I'll have a picture of my son on the thumbnail for the video, and a lot of people say he takes after me. We have the same eyes. I did an ancestry.com thing, and it came back that I was English and Irish. However, throughout my whole life, people thought, oh, you must be Japanese, maybe? You have a little Asian? And my son does too. But apparently, according to ancestry.com, we are not at all Asian. Or even growing up, my mom thought we might be Native American. No, I guess just Irish or English, but my son does take after me in the eyes. We look quite a bit alike. If somebody has a bad temper, if they get angry easily, maybe they'll say, oh, take after your mom like that. Yeah, that's where you get it from. So take after, meaning you have inherited something from a relative. The next one, and this can be pretty complicated, is take away. Take away. And there are a bunch of different definitions, examples for take away. Maybe after this video, maybe if you learn something, which I hope you do, you could have a takeaway. And that means after you've received information, you could have a big takeaway, which is like a new idea that you learned, a big takeaway. For instance, I'm a teacher, and oftentimes after school, we get together for meetings and learn how to be better teachers. And they will often ask us after the meeting, what was your big takeaway? What was your big takeaway? So what did you learn? If you learned or heard 100 different things today, what's your one big takeaway? So that's takeaway. Also in math class, instead of saying subtraction, sometimes people will say take away. For example, 5 take away 3 equals 3. 5 take away 3 equals 3. This isn't a math channel, so I don't have to be accurate with my math, just as accurate as I can with my English. Sometimes a takeaway could be like this. Let's say a sports team won a championship, or they won the game, but maybe at the end of the game, there was some sort of bad sportsmanship that went on. Like maybe there was a fight with one of the players or something. And some people may say, oh, they won the game, but that fight, it took a little something away from that win. So it means like it kind of tarnished their win. It kind of made it cheaper. It kind of made it not as good. So that could be something like, let's talk about a guy. Maybe he's a real good-looking guy, and a lot of the ladies like him, but maybe he has a horrible personality. And so it might be said, he's a really good looking guy, but his personality takes something away from him. So kind of like subtraction too, still going along with that subtraction thing. If you remember, I was watching a documentary on Netflix, or my wife was watching the documentary. I was in the room, and it was about Taylor Swift, and she won an award a few years ago, but Kanye West got on stage and said something about Beyonce had the best video. Well, that incident took a little away from her award. At least that's what it said in the movie. She didn't feel as good about getting that award because he got up on stage. It took a little away from what she had accomplished. So in the last video with break, we had breakdown, as if you have something that is all put together and you start breaking it down or taking it apart. It's the same thing. So take apart and break down is the same thing. For example, in order to fix the car, I had to take apart the motor. Take apart, break down, pretty much the same. Anybody who knows me though knows I can't fix cars. So I would make it worse if I tried to take anything apart on a car. That is not my style. Another thing is take down. Take down. It's February 6th right now, February 6th. And I think most people in this country have taken down their Christmas trees, but that's one way to use take down. You may have like a painting on the wall and you take it down to clean. And also take down could be like another way to say a fight. If two people got into a fight and one of them kicked the other's butt, you could say, oh, he really took him down. So those are two ways to use take down. And this video is getting a little long, so how about let's have this be the last one. And the last one for this video with take will be take in. Take in. And there are two kind of different take ins. One could be take into your house. For example, maybe there's a stray cat that keeps visiting your neighborhood. You could take that cat in as your own. You take it in. You adopt it, I guess. You would use that only for animals. You wouldn't say that you were taking in a child if you adopted them. So that doesn't work for that case. But taking in a stray cat is commonly heard. And the last one with take in, very different. This can be so confusing. Is like if you are having your clothing altered, or if you're having your clothing fixed, maybe it's too big, you could have it taken in. So maybe you lost some weight because at the beginning of the year you said, I'm gonna eat better. I'm gonna start exercising more. And maybe your waist is smaller, so you might have to have your favorite dress taken in, made a little bit smaller. So I hope the pace of this video was okay. I tried not to talk too quickly. I think a couple times I got a little excited and maybe talked a little too quickly, but hopefully you have the subtitles on and those helped. Please, if you haven't, subscribe, comment, like, give me suggestions for future videos, and I'll see you next time.